It's Friday afternoon, time for sprint qualifying for the 5th every single year since the sprints were introduced. Laps tomorrow, who knows who's going to come out range. 15 corners, 10 to the left and 5 feature medium and soft tyres. It's coming down onto the track, but we're all set for snatch the honours right at the death in the McLaren.
Of the Red Bull, of Max Verstappen, no doubt that the two McLarens and they're at the beginning of the pit lane, so we've fourth shortest track of the year. Obviously 20 getting out of the dirty air of the car in front may be challenging, and so I think we're going to see
camera shot, but it's Yuki Tsunoda who is Max Verstappen put on the softs, but then all the way through the session, so no experience.
Well, on a sprint weekend, set of dry tyres, so that's to be. It's not exactly that parsimony. Medium compound tyres in case it's like a two-stop.
You've got track resurface from Sol down towards the Cedar de Lago, turn 3, that they're going to be using for this across the fields. Light is green from one end of the pit lane to the other. Lando Norris and Oscar as they were in 2023, and a step harder.
To remind you then, in sprint qualifying, one new set of medium compound soft red mark tyres for SQ3, so it's on exactly the same tyres. No, you're in trouble.
What's interesting at the moment, Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar and Fernando Alonso haven't been with us so far this weekend. We'll be racing for the team in a full season for the first.
You're not driving every lap, every race a completely different way.
Here's the championship that Piastri wins the sprint race. That 3 wins during the course of this year. That's just
potential typhoon coming our way, isn't it? Some weather coming in tomorrow.
Could be free, and the race itself was
really. He's having to bouncing a little bit there towards the end of the lap, where we need to protect the rear tyres towards the end, 4/10 slower than he went this morning.
And his distance of a second in practice separated the McLaren drive.
First and only practice session, Piastri
has just set the fastest middle sector. Expect quite a bit of track evolution. Charles Leclerc is on now and about to do a lap master.
So you have to be neat and tidy on the way in. Open turn 3, steal a bit of a slipstream from that back 100 miles an hour. Keep it within bar shoot. Late apex for the second. This is a very technical part of the racetrack then. Turn in, back end of the Ferrari. His car bottomed out and spun him off this morning. Long haul up the hill. You're pressing the throttle shortest route. This line comes up quickly in a stage.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc through the first 2 sectors, picks up a little bit of a 7 fastest, is ahead of his teammate by 7/100. Hits them, goes 8 fastest. The Paulo
like Hamilton and Leclerc, fractions of
Verstappen, who will pick up a lovely toe. That's his friend and the man that he takes 17.9 was a couple of tenths up.
There again there as the car washed out, in from the outside, a lot of steering. First really we've seen of Verstappen on up the hill from other cars preparing to put him just ahead of both. Got that lap on the board.
This is sectors you want low downforce, because that's as much downforce as you can get. So there's a compromise downforce overall, because he can live with
a bit of fuel on board. Obviously he's now gone far, and George Russell climbing that there, but in the dry, absolutely flat out.
Into third as Lando Norris with a 1:09.7, fastest time last.
Here, who's come easily and off. It'll always be super close here. And
as his teammate Lando Norris, 3 test cars felt more alive than it has done, but he's feeling more comfortable by the lap.
Yeah, secondary issues that I have to in the middle of the corners. It's picking.
His 150th Grand Prix start, and it was their first double podium since Korea, back in Spain in 1997.
With 3 World Championship, Jim Clarkson, but now there's
the pace of the Ferraris. Only 13th fastest, goes back to
isn't it? 7/10 of a second to moment. So what can they do about it?
Not the same boat as his teammate here. Hamilton goes 6th fastest. It's Piastri and George Russell, and to try and make that magical time. That projected time is right of a 1 Verstappen. Could be scrapping away here.
Indeed, right. So carry on participating in this.
A 1:10.6 puts him in trouble, and yes, it's 4th fastest. Where he finished. Behrman through. Alex Albon, we got the stop wine in the newly liveried for this race with Mark Peter driving from Alex Albon.
Yeah, Greg Penn has got in answer. Now they've burned a little bit. Clarence
safely through and into the 1 minute fastest with George Russell pitting after going at top 6. Carlos Sainz is on a lap, but it's 15th fastest. Pushes Tsunoda now for second off the pace through the first 2 sectors. Climbing to the line, Charles Leclerc only 11 on Max Verstappen. Gasly goes in Sainz, who's put in a personal best for the middle. middle sector.
He's 20th.
Hamilton, 1:10 fastest for him. Can Lewis Hamilton could flag? And Carlos Sainz,
As you pointed out, he had a very bad first sector. For the sprint qualifying is
one went wide through the center S's, and that on second slowest. Yuki Tsunoda making their early exit.
His earlier on in the middle sector of the lap wasn't as the fuel weight came off and the tyres got in. Look, he had to slow down at the apex a bit more as quickly as he'd want. You know, that he didn't have this lockup on the final lap line. That's okay. We've seen other people doing it, but just that brake pressure a little bit, the brake balance. Unfortunately, the car all the time there. He lost 9/10 of a second to see where he was and where the car was. Because of course, without that 9/10, he would have got through the car.
Go to the Red Bull pit wall. Lauren Mecky's team boss. A lot of work going on his car before.
I think we after we had a slightly different program to the other, and then I think there is no point to have lack of track running. You don't get a clean, but the weekend is still long for Yuki.
So this is a learning session. You're pretty satisfied with Pete?
This morning in FP1 in this SQ1 how easily they did the lap time. Let's see how close we can get.
Boletto and Hulkenberg, who was fourth on the grid, clattered by Oscar Piastri.
I think Carlos Sainz has just passed me in the pit lane, make their outlap, their execution of that, who only scraped out of that SQ1 session. Could be quicker over a single lap, but
it's raining and gets a bit damp tomorrow.
Which used to form as well. You can see it was for the water to run away. So, but
in 33 Brazilian drivers racing in Bortoleto, setting out on his first flying the lake descent.
Yeah, big number of Brazilian drivers long, which was nice to see. Dario for 25 wins, not 62.
Yeah. Thank you very much, to be honest. He did an 18-1 for the first sector, Fernando Albon, which looks a fairly handy car for points. Soon to be followed by Max Verstappen starting his lap.
Which has just dropped 6 degrees. So the track just starting to cool.
Slight variation in track temperature can have a...
I felt it myself. I've never really differences to make. If the track loses 2 or 3 track and what's laying on the surface of the race.
Lewis Hamilton with the 5th fastest time, and that's a bit more Verstappen with a storming first sector. Teammate next year goes 2nd fastest, and Max to keep out of Lando Norris's way as he starts a lap.
For Max Verstappen, a little bit of it. He's going to have to go again, but
with Lando Norris keeping out of his way, Lewis seen so far. Oscar Piastri
went on when we went on board first time around. Let's see how it goes through the exit, and you can pin the throttle, ease, don't scrape and save a car's length as the line comes.
I'm sure if Fernando Alonso being fastest was on your bingo card in the first part of the lap. 10th of a second separating the top 3, with George picked up his first ever win in Formula 1 in and Russell after winning that.
Ferrari are going to have to be really on it here, otherwise.
That they picked up a little bit of pace. They're separating them, and there's only was left
on the replay. This is Lewis, the same. That puts you high.
Experienced driver Charles Leclerc, but did they need a bit session? Are we seeing the fact that they
as Lando Norris is coasting? Yeah, but I fear it's more.
Completed his push lap, trundled around, and really get those temperatures down.
And that is a trundle. Too hot, it changes properties, and it'll never come back. Trundle, and then the pressures come down. Because of the loads they're generating plenty of time, trying to keep that Aston behind him.
It's longer, which he can do as long as he's put in 4 points here. That's a big lock-up in the middle part of the lap.
It's a really clumsy little corner.
Wrong side of that projected knockout time. For this session, he stays 6th fastest. The likes of Bortoleto, Behrman, Bortoleto, Albon and Hamilton, all of whom could in 7th for the first sector. Absolutely, his work is done and is safe.
A bit nervy.
Yeah, 3rd fastest flap adjustment didn't work. Lewis Hamilton is yellow now.
It's not, is he?
Look in their way currently, and this could cost in the background. Hamilton's not got there with the traffic situation, but as far as
see all the lights blaring away, play no further part in sprint quality
to start another flying lap.
But to be honest, it's been on the cards.
So Fred Vasseur, penny for your thoughts. Every driver to actually slow down, prepare, who's got into SQ3 for the second. And it's meant that Fernando Alonso keeps that fast. Toletto only 14th, Gasly down in 13th. Charles Leclerc going into that corner and then spins it. Charles Leclerc in the top.
Demonstration, locked up, ran wide, of course, on these cars.
And does go through consecutive season here in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, every time, mate. The car is completely broken.
He is through. Lauren Mekis on the pit wall and with him of the car.
Yeah, the radio and you know, when that's fair enough. And honestly, it also reflects, as you know, being in Parkhamel, there is a limited amount of stuff learnings for later on.
What's thrown you the curve?
Didn't have a great feeling either this morning on the soft steel window of the car around here.
Laurent, thanks ever so much. Past Charles Leclerc. When Leclerc, it did sound to me, Martin, the yellow, which means you were back his final flying lap, and it.
Throttle traces, they'll compare that with the 200, gave it due respect. He'll have some answering to
itself, and it will be investigated by the
Andy Stevenson, sporting managers, looking into the gap. And interested to see that the Mercedes out there as well, Crofty. So it's gone so.
For the first time since Shanghai, back this year, hasn't reached Q3 at all. As you were here, I'm sure, that day of way to mark that 15th anniversary.
Ace the timing, and we know how quick they carry it hard to beat the McLaren. But this is the one that matters now. His ability will be we'll see who can keep them intact.
Not that bit with George Russell. The bit the performance, the handling of the car, it's like a Complico de Pato. He's going to set the pace then. 5, he goes slower than he did in SQ2.
And Kimi Antonelli nicely, and looks like he kept his tyres better.
Norris going even quicker. This is the man, the Australian. Wow. And there's a lot more to come who hasn't been on sprint pole this year.
But a sound tyres, they're not as robust. They give up. That's great work from both them.
His handling problems in the middle part of the lap.
Yeah. Not as happy on the softer compound tyre.
Verstappen not happy with the pace of his wear is going to be too severe, and that's where Oscar not match or better the fuel effect with the fuel that extra pace. But Loris,
a lot to do. Charles look a little bit slow. They don't need to be, but yes, yet again then. But at the moment, also Mercedes.
You'll have seen the McLaren behind Nico Hülkenberg. Their drivers for another lap here, because Lando Norris is Nico Hülkenberg. 18-1 is that performance in his tyres by not stressing.
They've got time, more fuel, to be able to do those 2 slowdown laps
as well. Hülkenberg is a little bit the line, and the slowest. Start another flying lap with his batteries nice.
Antonelli, so will be close.
Piastri to the line. Only teammates' efforts have come to nothing. His advantage with his best time. So Alonso crosses the line, goes 4th, fast pace in the middle part of the lap. Only 6th
over the line. We've got Russell and Antonelli.
A sprint pole, no, he can't, and he doesn't. To that second row behind this man. Not steady as he tries to get the power down.
And that'll cost him.
Definitely going to be on the front row for the chip lead last time out, and bags his follow. It is Norris on top.
Like in Mexico.